Despite all the problems and box office disappointments that we've seen from the Marvel Cinematic Universe over the past few years, there was one movie that nearly everyone said, you know, even if they've had some problems, this is probably going to be good for them. There's no way that this could flop, is there? And that was Guardians of the Galaxy. Why Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be the kickstart the MCU needs. And a few months ago, this is what all the headlines said. Despite Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania tanking at the box office, a massive flop. This is a movie that needed about $600 million to break even, couldn't even reach $500 million worldwide. Really, truly pathetic. But the last hurrah for all these characters, James Gunn's final entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was coming right around the corner. But unfortunately, as we've seen, and this is pretty unbelievable to be honest with you, the box office projections, they didn't start off very well for Guardians of the Galaxy. In fact, from the very beginning, it looked like it wouldn't even open up to the same level of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, all the way back in 2017. And in the weeks since then, it's only continued to get worse. And even just in the last day, the projections have been lowered for Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 box office estimates take a hit. Will MCU fans turn out for the last version of the team as James Gunn heads to the direct competition? This is over on Cosmic Book News. But when we look at Box Office Pro, the first projections that came out, I'm going to go through this each and every week, how it changed each and every week. This is the first long-range box office tracking we had. They thought it was going to make $120 to $155 million in its opening weekend. Now, even though that's not like massive, that's not great numbers, that could potentially have matched up with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Still would have been likely a problem for them. Then the next week, down 6%, $110 to $135 million opening weekend. Then what was it? $110 to $130. So you just continue to see the range go down and down and down. And now here we are on the day that it releases, and these are the most up-to-date projections we have. $105 million plus domestic debut as summer's opening act. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania had a $106 million domestic debut, and we saw what happened with that. This is a nightmare scenario for right now. And I'm going to be honest, I will be shocked if this thing actually does numbers like this. I'm expecting that, you know, maybe people are just holding off buying tickets. Maybe they're going to come out in droves and support it, and it'll reach $150 million. That would still be a potential problem for Marvel at the box office because Guardians 3 cost $250 million to make. It needs to hit $750, right around that area, $1 million worldwide, just to think about breaking even. So even if it hit $150 million worldwide in its opening, I still think that would be a problem. But right now, these are the numbers. Thursday's first shows are in line to generate between $16 and $18 million based on current models, which should translate to a domestic weekend between $105 million and $125 million through Saturday. To put that in perspective, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, pathetic showing. That made $17.5 million on that Thursday preview night. Now, those are a little finicky, but even let's take Thor: Love and Thunder, which had an opening comparable to Guardians 2, $144 million. Thursday previews, almost $30 million for this movie. That kind of puts in perspective right now how shockingly low the Guardians projections are. Now, projections are just projections. When we see the numbers, we'll certainly know more. But with articles that are coming out from Variety, from Deadline saying, yeah, $120 million debut, or Deadline saying $110 million domestic with $250 million worldwide, Marvel has to be panicking right now. This is not the state they thought they would be in. This is not the conversation they thought they'd be having surrounding Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, something that's been built up for so long, a goodbye to all of these characters. This is a disaster for them. When I look around, because I've kind of looked to kind of see where tickets are being bought, at some of the big theaters like the Disney Springs massive AMC that's here in Orlando, it's almost sold out for a lot of stuff for Guardians. But then nearly every other AMC around, and it's just not. It's not even halfway full. So I don't know what to believe. I don't know what this movie is going to do, but right now the projections are incredibly low. We saw something like Super Mario Brothers come and, you know, kick ass and dominate those projections. We haven't really seen that for Marvel movies. We've seen them overperform a touch, but not a ton. And right now, with the projections for this movie, this is something that would struggle to hit $600 million worldwide, let alone make it to that $750 million break-even point. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse or more dire for Marvel, you start to hear news like this. I personally think it's going to overperform those a little bit, and they're going to try to be like, oh my gosh, look, it overperformed its estimates. Marvel's still here. But it's still going to probably be right around in line with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and it's probably going to have a bigger fall off than that. And at the end of the day, it's going to make less money than Guardians 2, and maybe even the first Guardians movie. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.